Level 1. The Intern. Year 22. Political Science degree. University of Michigan. 3.9 GPA. You applied to 14 congressional offices and got one response. That's enough. You show up on your first day in a suit you bought 2 days ago. It still has the crease from the hanger. You walk into the Eisenhower Executive Office building. You show your ID 4 times in 60 seconds. You walk through 2 metal detectors. A woman with a badge and zero expression hands you a temporary pass on a lanyard. Don't lose this, she says. Don't photograph anything. Don't speak to anyone in the hallway unless they speak first. You nod. You don't tell her that your hands are shaking. Your job for the next 12 weeks is simple. Answer phones, file documents, organize briefing packets, restock the supply room, make coffee. Not regular coffee, a specific kind, specific strength, specific temperature, for a specific deputy who will never learn your name. You make $0. $0. This internship is unpaid. You are paying $1,400 a month for an apartment the size of a parking space in Alexandria. Your parents are covering it. They don't complain. They tell everyone their kid works at the White House. You work 60 hours a week. You eat lunch at your desk. You learn fast that in this building, the people who complain disappear. And the people who stay quiet and move fast get noticed. On your last day, a senior advisor stops in the hallway and looks at your badge. You any good? He asks. You don't hesitate. Yes. He nods once, walks away. 3 weeks later, you get a call. A real position. Entry level. Staff assistant. $38,000 a year. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. That phone call changes everything. But you have no idea yet what everything actually costs. Level 2. The staff assistant. You're 23. You now have a permanent badge. It opens more doors than you expect. Not literally. Literally, it opens 3 doors. But in this building, doors are not what matter. What matters is the room you are standing in when someone important needs something done. Your job is still invisible. You manage the front office for a senior legislative affairs director. You handle his calendar. You screen his calls. You prepare his daily briefing folders, color-coded, tabbed, in a specific order that took you 2 weeks to memorize because he never wrote it down. He is not kind. He is not unkind. He doesn't see you at all. You are furniture that occasionally hands him paper. But furniture hears everything. You hear how decisions move through this building. Who calls whom first? Which names make senior staff go quiet when they're mentioned? Which meetings get added to the schedule at 10 p.m. for 6 a.m. the next morning? You start to understand that information in this building doesn't flow down. It flows sideways. Between people who trust each other. And trust is the only currency that actually matters here. After 7 months, you make your first move. A briefing packet goes missing the night before a Senate committee meeting. Senior staff is panicking. You found the packet 3 hours earlier, misfiled in a communications folder. You didn't say anything. You waited. You walked in at exactly the right moment and placed it on the director's desk. He looked at you for the first time. How long have you had this? Just found it, you say. He knows that's not true. You know he knows. He nods slowly. What's your name again? You tell him. He doesn't forget it again. That is how careers begin in Washington. Not talent, timing. But timing is a skill. And you're getting very good at it. Level 3. The policy analyst. You're 26. You have an office now. Small. No window. Shared with 2 other analysts. But yours. Your job is to read everything. Every bill moving through Congress that touches the president's agenda. Every intelligence summary that crosses the legislative affairs desk. Every polling memo. Every opposition research file. You summarize. You flag. You translate complicated things into 3 bullet points that busy people can absorb in 90 seconds. You are very good at this. But here's what the job actually is beneath the job title. You are an opinion that hasn't been asked for yet. You see the gaps. The briefings that contradict each other, the polling that doesn't match the messaging, the legislation being pushed by people with financial interests nobody has flagged. You write it all down in memos that go into a folder that may or may not get read. One of them gets read. A trade policy memo you wrote at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday gets forwarded to the deputy chief of staff. Nobody tells you. You find out because your director calls you into his office and looks at you like he is trying to decide something. Who told you to look at the agricultural subsidy angle? Nobody, you tell him. You found it in the cross-referencing. He is quiet for a moment. Don't send memos like that through the standard system again, he says. Send them to me directly. You don't fully understand what just happened. But you understand one thing. Somewhere above you, someone read your name for the second time. In this building, that is everything. The problem is you are also now visible, and visible means exposed. A senior advisor from a competing office stops you in the hallway 2 weeks later. Heard you've been busy, he says pleasantly. He is not being pleasant. You smile, say nothing. He smiles back. And that is your first real lesson in White House politics. The moment you become useful to one person, you become a threat to someone else. Level 4, the senior advisor. You're 30. You are now in the room, not the Oval Office, not yet, but the senior staff conference room. The 7 a.m. meeting where the people who actually run the country's daily operations sit around a table and decide what the president will know, think, and say today. You have a seat at that table. Your job is no longer to summarize. Your job is to advise, to take a position, to say out loud in front of people with far more power and far more ego than you. That's the wrong call. The first time you do it, the room goes quiet. The communications director looks at you like you just knocked something off a shelf. The deputy chief of staff raises one eyebrow. The president's senior political strategist, a man who has been in this building for 12 years, slowly puts down his pen. You don't flinch. You lay out the numbers. You explain the exposure. You make the case. 17 seconds of silence that feel like 17 minutes. The deputy chief says, he's right. Pull the statement. The statement gets pulled. After the meeting, the strategist falls into step beside you in the hallway. Where'd you come from? He asks. Michigan, you say. He almost smiles. No, I mean, who brought you up? You tell him. He nods slowly, looks straight ahead. Watch your back, he says. Not as a threat, as advice. The only kind that matters in this place. You are making $120,000 a year. You have a parking spot. You have a direct line to 3 cabinet-level offices. You have influence over decisions that affect 330 million people. You have not taken a vacation in 2 years. You missed your best friend's wedding, your father's surgery, your own birthday. You are in a situation room in Stuttgart on a secure video call. Your mother asks you when she sees you at Christmas, "Are you happy?" You tell her yes. You're not lying, but you're not telling the full truth either. The full truth is you don't remember what happy felt like before this job. Level 5, the deputy chief of staff. You're 35. The title on your badge has changed twice in 5 years. This one is different. Deputy chief of staff means you run the building when the chief isn't there. It means you manage 4 senior directors, 12 advisors, and a staff operation of over 200 people. It means you sit in on every intelligence briefing, every cabinet meeting, every crisis call. It also means you now know where all the problems actually live, not the public problems. Not the ones that make the news, the real ones. The cabinet secretary who has been leaking to the press for 11 months and everyone knows it, but nobody has moved on him because he controls 3 Senate votes the administration needs. The senior advisor with a drinking problem that has twice caused security concerns on overnight trips. The vice president's office that operates like a parallel government and shares almost nothing with yours. You manage all of it, quietly, with no credit and no record, because that is the deputy's job, not to be seen. To make problems disappear before they reach the chief's desk, before they reach the president's attention, before they become stories. You are extraordinarily good at it. But here's what nobody tells you about this level. The problems don't disappear, they accumulate. Every buried issue becomes a debt, and debts collect interest. The cabinet secretary who should have been removed 10 months ago now has leverage. The advisor with the security concern just traveled with the president to 3 foreign countries. You manage up and you manage down and you manage sideways and you sleep 4 hours a night and your apartment has 3 unopened boxes you moved in with 18 months ago and never unpacked. And then the chief of staff resigns. Personal reasons, the announcement says. You know the real reasons. You wrote the memo that made him resign. The president calls you at 11 p.m. Can you be here at 6 a.m.? You already know what he's going to offer. You already know you're going to say yes. You also already know what it's going to cost. Level 6. The chief of staff. You control everything now. Every meeting on the president's schedule yours. Every briefing that reaches the Oval Office through your desk. Every statement, every response. Every decision about what he knows and when he knows it. You are 40 years old. You are the most powerful unelected person in the country. Your name appears in newspapers every day. Your face appears on Sunday morning programs. Foreign governments research your preferences before their leaders visit. The Saudi ambassador sends you a gift. You send it back. The Speaker of the House calls you before he calls the Vice President. 3 Fortune 500 CEOs have your cell number. You answer when they call. You give them nothing but access, and access alone is worth more to them than money. You have 200 people working under your direct authority. You have a security detail. You have a motorcade. You have a conference room that gets swept for listening devices every morning at 5:15 a.m. You have not driven yourself anywhere in 14 months. But here is the thing about this level that is never written in any book about American politics. The power is real, and the isolation is realer. You trust no one completely, not because they are bad people, because the structure of this building makes complete trust a liability. Everyone who talks to you wants something they haven't said yet. Every conversation has a second conversation underneath it. You have learned to hear both simultaneously. Your daughter is 9 years old. She knows you work at the White House. She tells her friends. She is proud of you in the way children are proud before they understand what absence actually is. You have missed 34 of her last 40 weekends. You have a framed photo of her on your desk. It is the first thing visitors see when they walk into your office. It is the last thing you look at before you leave every night. Some nights you leave at 11 p.m., some nights you don't leave at all. On the good days, you believe it is worth it. That the decisions you shape, the crises you prevent, the wars that don't happen because you made a call at 3 a.m. matter more than any one person's comfort, including yours. On the bad days, you sit in your office after everyone has left and you feel the specific weight of a life that belongs more to history than to you. And then your phone rings. It always rings, and you answer, because that is who you are now. Level 7. The last day. It doesn't end with a scandal. Not for you. It ends on a Tuesday. Ordinary Tuesday. No crisis. No leak. No betrayal. The president calls you into the Oval Office at 4:30 p.m. You think it's the North Korea briefing follow-up. You have a folder in your hand. He's standing at the fireplace, arms crossed. You've seen this 1,000 times. Sit down, he says. You sit. I need someone who can run the 2028 transition strategy from the outside, he says. National committee level. Full authority. You understand immediately. He is not asking you to step up. He is asking you to step out. Gently. With a title that sounds important. The way this city removes people it has finished using. You look at him for a long moment. Who's replacing me? You ask. He tells you the name. You nod. You already knew. You saw the signals 3 weeks ago and chose not to believe them. You shake his hand. You walk back to your office. You sit down at your desk for the last time. You look at the photo of your daughter. She is 9 years old in the frame. She is 12 now. You pick up your phone. You call her. She answers on the second ring, surprised. You never call on a Tuesday afternoon. Dad? Hey, you say. Are you free this weekend? She is quiet for a second. Then, both days? Both days, you say. She makes a sound you haven't heard in a long time. You sit in the office that ran the country and you listen to your daughter laugh. And for the first time in 3 years, you don't hear a second conversation underneath the one you're having. The last thing they tell you when you take this job, you will give everything. What they don't tell you, everything means exactly that. Not most things, not the convenient things, not the things you're willing to spare. Every person who has ever sat in that chair gave the same thing, their time, their health, their relationships, their version of normal. And the country kept running. The building kept running. A new name went on the door. Somewhere right now there is a 22-year-old with shaking hands and a new badge on a lanyard who has no idea what they just walked into. The cycle never stops. It just changes names.